Hi everybody and welcome to Scott's Shave. So I realized that I'm doing two videos in one day, or 2 days, two videos in 2 days, my bad. You know, there goes that raw and unedited portion because I'm gonna make mistakes, right? I'm only human. So the reason that I am here tonight making a video for you with only 1 day growth is because my excitement has finally hit the climax, okay? So I have yet to show you my shave den. I have some other razors on their way back home. When they get here, I do plan to finally show you my shave den. And by that, I mean all of my razors, okay? So, there's been a razor that has been in the long time making since March. I had some plans to, do this and do that to get my hands on it. It has been the golden leprechaun, so to speak, or the pot at the end of the rainbow for me. And the last 3 months, I've managed to acquire a good bit of razors and have checked off a lot of my top 5 list, or top 10 for that matter. And my top 5s included a diplomat and a president. And at the very top of that list was a toggle. Okay? So today, at around 11 this afternoon or morning, or however you want to put it, I finally received what I have been waiting for. My golden toggle has finally made its debut. There's nothing missing on this. This is a user grade. This is not a completely refinished one, though it might get there. I don't know. This is a red dot. You can see the red dot here, F4. The F4 makes this a 1960 toggle. Okay, so I am absolutely over the moon happy that this thing has showed up to finally make its debut. I mean, look at the shine on that razor. I gave this the utmost cleaning that I have ever given any razor. I gave the most attention to detail on anything that I have ever gotten. Does this place among my most expensive razors? Yeah, it's up there. I mean, I have a fully cased President in almost new mint condition. My 56 Aristocrat Deluxe, which I used in the very first video that I ever shot, is very excellent condition with full case and matching blade case to go with it from the original set. I have a 15 open comb complete natural set, one owner, that has been passed down to me through a gentleman from England. I have a number 22, I have a number 66, I have a number 58. But the toggle, even without the case, because I do not have the case for this, is up there among probably my most expensive / rarest razor. I guess maybe rarity is not... it may not be the rarest, but it's definitely one of the most valuable. They were only made in 3 different year runs, 55, 58, and 60. So what's crazy about that is my top 5 list has been toggle was number 1, president was number 2, number 3 was a diplomat, and number 4 and 5 were English aristocrats, which I don't have all of them, obviously. I'm missing a 21, and there's a bunch of them I'm still missing, but there's also the regular ones that are a copy or clone of what we would consider here the Sheridan or Senators or something like that, which I have a Sheridan, do not have a Senator. I do have a 34 and a 36 American Aristocrat that look very similar to that of a British, but they're not a flat bottom, okay? So, that's kind of where I'm at. My top 5 have been achieved. And what's funny about that is now I've made that list and they're checked off. Well, now that I've sort of entered this almost twilight zone of my collection, I'm now moving into the realm of where, that now places like a Red Dot Fat Boy, a first run, I think like 1950 original or 49 original executive, which is a silver marred handle, all right, and a bottom dial, as far as Gillettes go. It's not to say that a double ring and single ring and all that. Believe it or not, I don't have a whole lot of those in my collection. I don't have some of the original Aristocrats from like the 1917 or 16 or whatever it is, somewhere in there. I don't have a Bulldog. But those aren't in my top that I want because, yes, I'm a collector, but I do use my collection. And I have used some old type. I have like a couple old type open combs in my ball end old types in my collection that are non-cracked handle. But I'm not a big fan of them. I don't like them all that much. They don't give me the best of shaves, so I haven't been trying to chase those that much. So after I achieve my kind of new top, at least 3, 4, because I got to get a Senator, I got to get the Executive, I got to get a Red Dot Fat Boy, and I got to get the elusive bottom dial. Which, that last one, any of us who know that I'm in for a rather expensive beating, so to speak, on that one. Unless I happen to find one, like I managed to see a guy about 4 months ago, found one in Pennsylvania, I think, for like $8 or $12 at a antique store. I can only wish to be that lucky. I have been lucky. To say that I haven't, I would be lying through my teeth. I acquired my President with case for somewhere around $100. I got my Diplomat for around $50. My Type F for like $3. I hate to say it, but I bought it for $3. So I have acquired some razors that are in my collection for really cheap. My 56 Aristocrat Deluxe I paid $45 for. My number 15 open comb I paid $80 for, shipped here. The number 22 that's in here I paid like $45 for. So, and those came internationally. I just managed to get them and find a great deal on them. Okay, so I have found really fantastic deals on a vast majority of my collection, right? I bought a Ranger Tech in case, a 1941, I think, or 40, I'm pretty sure it's a 41 Ranger Tech with case for $10. I mean, come on. I have found deals, okay? Not to say I've not found and paid my fair share, though. Like my first 36 Aristocrat, I paid like almost close to $240 for that thing. But I have the original case, the original blade case, and the sock that it came in, I paid $120-ish for a new old stock British New Deluxe. And when I mean new old stock, I mean I literally opened it. It had the paper wrapping on the stuff still. All right, anyway, I digress, all right? So I'm kind of moving into the twilight where the razors that I'm starting now to shift my attention for cost a whole lot of this. So I hope that I'm ready for it. More or less, I hope my wife gives me permission to buy them. That's what it really boils down to, because we all know the bottom dial, there's a really good chance that I ain't going to find it. The chances are I'm going to have to shell out the big dollars to put that into my collection. So, that I'm not looking forward to. I really would love to have that in my collection, because if I get those other 3 in my collection, I essentially can close the book on the sort of mid 20th century Gillette razors. I would say from like 34 up, I would have at least one of every model. Sure, I do not have, a 61, a 62, a 63, a 64, a 65, a slim. I don't have every year the slim, but I'm not that kind of collector. I'm the kind of collector that just wants one of every model. All right? Because I don't want to be a hoarder where I'm cutting into other people's maybe possible collections or razors to use. So, anyway, given that, it is time to use this toggle. I got it in the mail today, and yes, I am gonna use it today. So I went with my favorite soap, which is Full Measure of a Man. I'm going with my fanciest brush, which is a gift from a friend, Michelle out in California, which is the Wild West Brushworks. Okay? These are not a gift from a friend. Obviously, I can afford my own blades. I can afford my own whatever. But, I have been gifted lots of things. This comes from my buddy Jonathan. Almost all my soaps do. Other than like this one that I did purchase. But this one was recommended to me by Michelle. But these are someone I've not mentioned yet on my channel, though he's a pretty influential dude himself. He goes by the name of David Place. So David, if you happen to watch this video, I appreciate it, buddy. Because I was using Derby and Derby Premium blades, which, from time to time I do for nostalgia purposes. But he had mentioned that Vashkod were his go-to. Vashkod, So I decided, what the hell? I'd heard him, and after talking with Dave a number of times on different things, especially razors, he's a guy I can trust. Just some of the razors I've seen out of his collection led me to believe that, hey, this guy's, he knows his stuff. He's been around a while, a lot longer than me, and he knows his crap. So, if David says it's going to be good, I believe David says it's going to be good. All right? So I'm going to be using a Vashkod blade in my toggle. And I have it on number 1. The adjusters in this razor are totally different than that of a slim or a fat one. That was news to me. Matt Pisarcik had told me that. And now that I have one in my hand, yep, they're a lot different. Oh, I am not going to be brave here. I'm going to go to a... That's one of the things I have is some of the lettering needs to be repainted. What? You know what? This is going to be sent in to Matt out there, RE, to get a tune-up. Other than that, because there's nothing wrong with the plating, it could just use a better polishing than I can give it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get our brush loaded up here with some water, get it run out, load it with soap, and then get this quote-unquote show on the road. Working and loading my brush here because I am looking for a big fat padded lather because I'm telling you what, you see the bristles are starting to stick together here. This only takes usually about 15 to 30 seconds. When you can see, you can move your brush bristles like this and they're sticking and not moving, you got enough soap. Okay, so I just go ahead and cap my soap again. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get my face wetted up here. And what I typically do, so in my bowl, you can see here, I will take my fingers that are dripping water and I will only put 2 or 3 drips in there, okay? My bowl has the added benefit of having all this texture to it. And what's amazing about that is I can whip lather super quick. And, oh, this stuff just smells so good. I don't even know what to say this smells like, but it just, Bannister and Mann, they make a good soap. And this has pretty good lasting power. I remember the first time I used this, I was able to smell it for a couple hours after it was gone off my face. Oh, I have been so looking forward to this in such a long time. I will say that blade has, it's quite a bit of gap on it. This razor is actually heavier than you would think too. To be honest with you, I think it is very close to that of a Fat Boy. So I'm just making sure here before I give this a go, that blade gap looks even on each side, the doors are tight, and she does. So here goes nothing. Yep, just what I would have suspected. Number 3 on this razor is so smooth, so nice, and man, no blade drag at all. a number 3. So my guess is the tolerances on this are very close to that of a fat boy. Because this is really smooth. It does have some good blade gap underneath, blade channels, or the adjusters in here. Man, this is like dream come true right here for me, guys. And you are here to witness this. And I appreciate you all being here. I do apologize for the length of this video because I now see that I blabbered on for too long and already at the 15 mark. But man, I could not handle my excitement. You do not, okay, so I'm not going to say that this is the most excited I've ever been in my life. Obviously, I have a daughter, My daughter's first steps, my daughter's first words, meant more to me than anything. And what's even funny about that is those of us who have a mother of our child, or who are maybe even stay-at-home dads, maybe some of us are stay-at-home dads. I'm not even going to say that that's out of the realm of possibility. In today's given age, that there's some women out there who are the breadwinners for their family, and you know what? That's fantastic. To be honest with you, being a stay-at-home dad would be pretty cool. I love my daughter. I love her more than anything. Just in my situation, it's not that, my wife is a stay-at-home mom with my daughter. But the thing about it is I work for the state. I work a 40-hour work schedule. I don't work some crazy hours where I'm gone a ridiculous amount. Not to say that I haven't done my fair share. Since like this year, April to July, I was working 7 days a week. I had 1 weekend off in that whole time frame. But my daughter is 6 now. So there isn't much first that I'm missing. I haven't missed first day of school. I haven't missed her last first day of school or any of that stuff. And the other thing is working for the state, my job has been pretty flexible. They're really flexible with, time off and stuff like that. And the point of it is I didn't miss my daughter's first steps. I did not miss my daughter's first words. Work has only ever been 2 miles from my place since I've started where my job is. And, I didn't miss any firsts with my daughter. And we're blessed in that regard. There was lots of things and this and that and complications and stuff with my daughter. She was a miracle child, so to speak, and complications of pregnancy that went along with it, she definitely was. So, we cherish her. I cherish her. And it's just so funny to get to see a little person growing up and the influence that you have on their lives and how they are a mirror image of their parents. Both my wife and both my wife and I have traits that are exhibited in our daughter. And her social patterns and everything. It's just funny. Man. So, I do not liken this event to the excitement of the birth of my daughter. Or anything with my kid that's been first and stuff like that. But, with the exclusion of my daughter finishing college and high school and getting married and falling in love with my now wife, for every thing, I liken this very much similar to the day that I had received my Rhodium Slim back from Razor Emporium. And all the days that I have collected razors, now it's a year, I've only been at collecting razors a year. I have been at using a DE for, over 6. So, but as far as collecting in the past year and the amount of excitement that you could get from it, that's what I liken this to. Any object, your first car, that kind of stuff, that's what my toggle feels like. It feels like my first car. I mean, it's just, that's the kind of feeling I get from this thing, So, I'm not trying to rub it in. That's not what I'm trying to do. I hope all those who really would like to get one can manage to get their hands on one. The shave that I have got from that razor, from the toggle, is very similar to that as a Fat Boy, okay? I liken it very much to that of a shave as my Fat Boy, which in my opinion gives me a better shave than that of my Slim. But they are fantastic razors, nonetheless. All of them. Slims, Fat Boys are fantastic razors. Toggles are too. They are just so unique with the way that they open and everything else. So, I appreciate you all being here for the maiden voyage of my toggle. I appreciate the hell out of it. It is a fantastic shave. This toggle came to me from the city of New York. So if the stories it could tell, the stories it would tell. This thing, since 1960 until last week, had existed in New York City, and now it exists in Michigan. This will be a part of my collection until probably the day that I'm no longer sucking air. Alright? So, in the name of science, it was worth it. And here's a picture of those adjusters in there. You see these? Typically, the adjusters that we're seeing are not a complete plate. The adjusters that we see are these 4 bars, typically on a Slim or a Fat Boy. That is what makes toggles so different from those two. The blade gap at 3 doesn't feel any different than the blade gap that I had on my Fat Boy at 3, so the blade gap has got to be really similar, but I only eyeballed it and did it by feel. I didn't necessarily get out my micrometer to look at it or whatever, but fantastic. And I don't know, but I am going to leave this open because I think with the open, it kind of maybe leaves less stress on it because the mechanism in these things are goofy. That's the one thing that I've heard from Matt Pisarcik and company on these things is the hardware inside that is what makes them unique, but also makes them a pain in the butt to work on. So, thank you for joining me. I apologize for the 23-minute video. I nicked myself here, and I felt it the minute I did it. I just didn't say it out loud. Oh, but crazy. Crazy, crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I also got another surprise in the mail today. I got my straight razor. So don't be surprised in the next shave video that I do not break out a straight razor to use. That one I'm not as excited about, but I'm going to do it. It's all in the name of science. You guys stay classy and thank you for joining me. Have a good night.